Welcome to Kappas Coach's Corner. Today we have Coach Kappas in week 1 with us, gearing up for New Philadelphia. We're going to hear about how the summer went. We're going to hear about the preparation for New Philly and where the Louisville Leopards are at right now. Coach, how did the summer practices and the preseason go?
Well, it's been our best summer yet. Going into year 3 here, we had a lot of team building, a lot of guys really picking up and taking the schematics to the next level of really understanding everything. It just makes everything so much easier when going into year 3 and keeping the same systems. But we had a really good summer. We had a lot of kids make a lot of gains in the weight room. Coach Kwasnicka had a great plan for our whole off season, and we saw a ton of kids make a lot of gains in lifting, speed, weight. It's probably, it couldn't have gone maybe any better. So it was, I think we're ready for a season, and we can be as good as we can be because of the preparation we put in the summer.
So in that preparation of the summer, I know you talked about, weight room and practice, but I know you guys also do some things with team building.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
We did, June is our team building month. Okay. So we always take Thursday, which is our last day of the week. We get a lift in, maybe some film work or something like that. And then we try to do something fun with the kids where they end their week on a high note, hanging out with their teammates, with their buddies. So we did our 2nd annual fishing tournament this year at one of the local ponds, and the kids had a great time with that. We give them about an hour time limit, and they put them in teams, and each kind of fish is worth a certain amount of points. So they take that very seriously. There might have been some kids going there the night before putting fish on stringers. I'm not sure, because there were some big bass caught on that one. But the kids have a great time with stuff like that. We do a cornhole tournament. We do a kickball tournament. So just trying to get them out of football, hanging out with each other, and just trying to grow as a team, feeding them, stuff like that.
Okay, great. So now in terms of, we got into 2-a-days, and, during 2-a-days, we had 2 scrimmages. So tell us about scrimmage 1.
Scrimmage 1, we played at Jackson. And I thought we came out and played pretty well for the first scrimmage. The first scrimmage, you want to be very simple, make sure guys can get evaluated playing our base defenses, running our base offenses. And there were some really good mistakes made. But I thought we tackled really well in the first scrimmage, and we were able to run the football pretty effectively in the first scrimmage. So, you don't really keep scoring those, but I was happy with the way our guys performed against Jackson, who's coming off a league title, and they're going to be a little bit younger this year than they were a year ago. But that was a good challenge for us with Jackson. And then the second scrimmage against Boardman. They're a little bit different in terms of offensively. They run a wing tee, and they're getting really good at that. That was kind of a new system for them last year. But we struggled at times defensively, defending some of that. And when you only take 2 days to prepare for the wing tee and only have one option to run on defense, it's not it's not the most fun thing when you can't really make too many adjustments. But we played a true half of football. We were able to score a couple times, scored late in the first half on a 2-minute drill, and, we got helped out by a couple penalties, but we did some good things both offensively, defensively, and just, again, not having the full time to prepare for an offense like that. You take the positives that you can out of that. And, some individual guys played really, really well, tackled pretty well. We came out of it healthy. We came out of both scrimmages healthy. That's a testament to our off-season training and conditioning. Going into week 1, we are 100% full strength with everybody ready to go.
That's what you want to be. So now going into week 1, we're going to travel down to New Philadelphia. What can we expect from New Philly?
Well, I mean, they're first 2 years, you see they do what they do. They are extremely well coached. They are tough kids. They play fast because they know what they're doing. And they have a veteran group. They got a lot of their skill guys returning from a year ago. And just like anybody, they lost some really good seniors that, we're anticipating them having some young guys that are going to step up. But Coach Johnson down there does a great job getting those guys coached up and, turning over senior classes every year and having guys step up. So, this is going to be a hard game to win. And, that's what we're telling our guys every single day. And we gotta play our best football game to win the game.
All right. So in addition, we'll get back to, the X's and O's of football and the opponent and that kind of thing. Let's talk a little bit about the program too. Okay. Let's talk about where we're at with Little Leopards.
Yeah, Little Leopards is going strong. Actually stopped out at a couple practices last night and last week. Just, trying to get to be seen out there, and those guys, showing that we really care about how that development's going. We did a combine. Our staff ran a 3-day combine at the beginning before the draft for Little Leopards. So it was a really good deal. All the Little Leopards coaches being out there, being able to evaluate all the players before the draft and just getting to know. I've been around enough for going into year 3 here that I know some of these kids coming up that are younger kids that are a little bit older than my oldest, and having some of these kids in the elementary school and whatnot. So it's a lot of fun watching those guys run around and, being right out here in the green space. We got 2 teams practicing out there. I mean, that's got to be one of the coolest things for small town America.
Yeah, small town America.
Drive through the middle of town and there's football practice going on. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty fantastic to see. I enjoy that every time I go by. All right, so we're talking a Little Leopards. I think the numbers are good. Yeah,
numbers are good. Pretty much on par with what we had last year, which was a really good year for numbers. So numbers are still increasing, staying steady, and so the future is looking bright for the future of Louisville football.
All right, so we're going to go one step at a time. From Little Leopards, we're going to go to 8th grade football. How's that team doing?
They're doing well. They had their first scrimmage last week against Lake, and it was a defensive shootout. Neither team really scored at all, but good team to scrimmage, first of all, because Lake's always a physical football team that likes to run the football. So Coach Atkins has done a great job. He's very organized. He's got a great coaching staff with him that they're really building the whole player, right? And those kids are having fun. They're learning how to watch film. They're learning how to lift weights, and then they're getting a good introduction to what the systems are going to be like once those kids get to 9th grade and above, with similar stuff to what we're doing on the varsity team. So, that's going really strong. Our numbers are strong there, just like last year. So anticipating those guys having another good season.
One of the things that was really interesting last year with the 8th grade football team being the first year for it was if you attended one of the home games for the 8th grade, it really had the middle school feel like a high school football game for the middle school. Yeah. It was kind of exciting.
It was cool. And they, getting to play at the stadium, draws a good crowd too. And, our players are out there on Wednesdays when they're there and they're caring about it. So it was cool. Under the lights pretty much every week. And then having the success that they did, that compounded upon itself as that season went on. And I think that last game when they had the chance to go undefeated, there was quite a few people there.
Exciting. All right. Freshman football. They starting up this week?
Yep, starting up this week. Thursday against New Philly at home, 5:00. The game got moved up a little bit because there's a soccer game after it, so it'll be 5:00 on Thursday. Same thing. Anticipating a great game there. Our freshman staff's doing a great job. We've changed some things where the freshmen are with the varsity a lot, learning individual techniques and fundamentals, and then they're able to kind of go on the other side of the field and work their offense and defense. But getting those guys some introduction to what it's like, what the speed's like, how the older guys run the drills and everything has been very beneficial because we started that last year. And I really feel like this year's sophomore class has developed a ton from their freshman year. And I think going through that type of practice every day with us has helped
an experience with upperclassmen, those drills.
Mm-hmm. And getting to know the coaches too, right? I work with all the freshman freshman linebackers and freshman tight ends that I get to, have those guys coaching them up every single day.
All right. So I know you had your Louisville Leopard Touchdown Club kickoff dinner last Saturday night. Tell us a little bit about the Touchdown Club, their support for your program.
Yeah, the Touchdown Club has done a phenomenal job just giving us everything that we need. And, the biggest thing is keeping our players hydrated, keeping them fed throughout 2 days. So they were providing, like Stacy Kelly, one of the senior moms, she organized all the meals for a snack between 2 days and a meal for after the second practice. These kids are, they don't know how good they have it. But, stuff like that, they're buying us gear, equipment, things that we need for the boys to have a first-class experience.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Burek, our new president, is doing a great job of just really, showing up. He's always over there, making sure we have what we need. And then, the kickoff event was phenomenal. That was, we had a great turnout for that. Everyone had a great time. We raffled off a lot of things, auctioned off a couple things.
Yeah, one of the new helmets went for a good amount of money, right?
Yeah, a couple $100.
Somebody gets to call play. I heard
someone gets to call play. So that was good. It was,
if only, I think it went $325 for calling a play.
I think it would have went for. So that's
just think if they start paying you $325 for each play you call.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
That wouldn't be a bad deal.
No,
right?
not at all. Not at all.
Fantastic. All right, so that's good. Can people still join the Touchdown Club?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're always looking for, it's never too late to join. They're yearly memberships. It's $25 for a single membership, $50 for a family membership. And, we're always looking for that little bit of money goes a long way to feed the kids.
Just to put that in perspective, I know during two-a-days, there's a budget to feed kids. Mm-hmm. Pretty much a parent can drop their kid off for football, mm-hmm. and you're going to train them for football and feed them.
2 times.
Yeah, 2 times for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you think about what a football player eats, they're not eating $5 meals.
And our guys were full too. They wasn't like they get a little banana or something like that. We were getting some full meals. So that goes a long way to help the kids. And then, you get to be a part of the club meetings every single week. There's going to be some perks. We're actually going to put some of our we got some new jerseys this year. Some of our old jerseys are going to be put up for sale through the Touchdown Club. That members will have first dibs on picking jersey numbers if they want to purchase those jerseys. So that'll be coming up soon. So there's a lot of benefits to being a part of the club, but the biggest thing is just the how that money goes directly to the players.
Right, exactly. It fuels the players in a lot of different ways. And, I know Louisville is a very strong community about mm-hmm. football, and everybody wants to be a supporter. Mm-hmm. And there's a way that you can make an influence on Friday night by showing the kids that you're going to join the club, and also then contributing to the things that they need. So that's leopardtdclub.com, I think is the website
leopardtdclub.com.
that they can join that. All right, so now let's talk about your team. And let's talk about maybe some of the players, some of the things we can look forward to as fans. Who's shining, who has really maybe leveled up from where they were last year.
Yeah, I think every team's success is going to start on the lines, right? So the offensive line, our goal is always to run the football and stop the run on defense. Offensive line, we got our 2 big boys back who started every game last year, Trevor Burek and Aiden Norris. And then we have 4 or 5 other guys that are gonna be, one Roy Newell's a returning starter, and then we got a handful of other guys. Xander McCroby has some starting experience. Max Morari's gonna be a junior that's a really promising player. Joe Banks is gonna be a sophomore. Sean Klein's gonna be a senior. So we got some good depth there that we're gonna rotate those guys a lot, especially on the defensive line. So we feel really strong about our offensive line and being able to run the football. And then you got to have some good backs and quarterbacks, right? So quarterback Gabe Stouffer, his strength is running the ball, but he's done a great job throwing the ball throughout the preseason. So expect him to be able to run the football a lot. And then Owen DiMarzio returning at tailback, who was our leading rusher and our leading receiver last year. And then Owen Wilson, sophomore running back, is playing, getting to get some significant carries as well in there. And then we got a good group of tight ends between Colton Doherty and Jake Baker, who are doing a great job blocking, and they're very capable receivers too, so they can stress you out there. And we have some veteran senior receivers in Quinn Burek, Colton Norris, Luke Seaman, Anderson Candle, Gabe Regenball, and the young guy Drake Wilson, who's doing a really good job. So offensively, we feel really strong about being able to have the talent across the fields, make people defend the whole width of the field, and being able to run the football.
As you're going through those guys, it sounds very diversified in terms of seniors, juniors, sophomores, but also, a lot of those kids that you were naming, even if they were juniors or sophomores, still had experience.
Yeah, we've played a lot of young kids over the last 2 years. That's really going to pay off this year.
All right, so we'll flip to the other side of the field.
Yep.
Talk a little defense.
Yeah, so defense, again, it starts up front. Senior Jake Beard came out for football this year as a senior. He's going to be a key piece of our defensive line at end. Big body, strong, tough kid. So we're very fortunate to get him out. And then, again, that same group of offensive linemen are kind of rotating through there in those interior spots with the two big boys, Burek and Norris. But, Sean Klein's done a great job this year on the defensive line, kind of moving around all over the place. Xander McCroby's done a great job on the defensive line. Joe Banks doing a great job. And then there's some young guys that'll get some opportunities. JP Lowry's done a great job. We got a senior, Massimo Roberts is doing a great job, providing some really good depth on the D line. So we're excited about that. Ethan Kelly's a senior that's really going to get his opportunity this year as a defensive end. He's doing a great job. And then linebacker, in going into year 3 here, these are the fastest linebackers that we've had. They can really run sideline to sideline. Colton Doherty and Anderson Candle. So they're doing a really good job at linebacker. And then we have a very veteran defensive backfield with Colton Norris, senior Quinn Burek, senior Luke Seaman, senior Gabe Stouffer as our 4 guys in the secondary there. That's have a wealth of experience playing on both sides of the ball. And then we have some young guys too, Drake Wilson, Xavier Burdella, that are really going to step up and fill some roles there. And then, I can't omit Owen Wilson as a defensive player. He's just, you can do a lot with him as like kind of our field outside linebacker. He can blitz, he can cover, and he's a special player. And then Isaiah Bragg is another guy that didn't get to play last year. But he's done a great job as our scout team player of the year last year, and is really feeling some great, taking some great reps on defense. And he's going to be a good one. So
we're right up against one last practice, right?
Yep.
And you guys are practicing
2 more.
2 more?
Wednesday and Thursday.
Oh, I'm a day ahead.
Today's Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm a day ahead. All right, so you got Wednesday night.
Yep.
And then Thursday morning?
Yep.
Bright and early.
Bright and early.
Those guys like those morning practices?
They do. We go really early before school on Thursdays, try to knock out practice in about an hour. And it is full game speed, game tempo, couple offensive plays, simulating punt or punt return, kickoff return, field goal, extra point. So, really getting a game feel of running guys on and off, make sure we're getting the right subs in, getting our operations of getting the plays in, getting the defenses in, stuff like that. And then practicing some scenarios. We do 2-minute drill, we'll do a 4-minute drill, we'll do end of game stuff, Hail Mary, all that stuff. So we squeeze all that stuff into 1 hour of practice, and the kids love it. They love getting that out of the way. And I love it too, that, Thursday morning by 7:15 a.m. we're done. And it's there's a little bit of weight off your shoulders that you really, you feel like the kids get the game plan, or, you can still have a little bit of time to maybe take some stuff off the call sheet and not add anything. But, it makes Thursday at school, I think, a little bit more enjoyable for the kids, because they know they get to go home or go to the freshman game. They get a night off. Sometimes some of the guys get together on Thursday night and, different groups, O-line or whatever. But I think the kids really liked it. We started doing it last year, and it gives them an extra 10 hours or so of recovery as well till Friday night. So
so if you're driving by the stadium at 5:30 in the morning, you see the lights on Thursday morning, you know what's going on.
Yep.
Usually it's the YMCA workout people driving by.
Yeah.
Or somebody else going to work. But
some of the parents like it too, because it makes them get up early and drop the kids off, and they're out there exercising, walking around the block. So,
all right. So, we talked about everything that's going on with the team in terms of players, who we're looking at, where we're at with the program. Also noticed that you got the hat on that says the Ville.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're kind of embracing maybe a little bit of rebranding a little bit with our team. But it's cool for the kid. The kids like this stuff. We're going to switch up the the helmets and stuff like that. And, we got a couple new sets of jerseys and whatnot to replace some old ones. So, the kids like that stuff. It might have got a couple more kids out for football. Not that that's, the end all be all, that the gear is, but I think the kids really embrace it. They like it. It's something a little bit fresh. And it's, we're trying to create a new era of Louisville football, and sometimes a little bit of change is good while still embracing, the history and the great tradition that Louisville football is.
Fantastic. I know you're excited. I know the team's excited. I know the community in town is excited. It's football season. It's back, and it's going to be at New Philadelphia Friday night. Now, talk a little bit about New Philly. As we've had, this will be the third year?
Yep, third year.
And we'll be looking forward to getting that first win against New Philadelphia.
That's right. We haven't gotten them yet. Some close games.
Yes, fantastic. Coach, I appreciate you being here. We thank you all for joining us on Coach Kappas's Coach's Corner and through YSN Live. We thank you for joining us, and go Leopards.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.